So, was it racism? Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense Logic of Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with the Nolan Wells incident. Like, he was a black teen, 18-year-old from Mississippi. He lost his life when he was on a boating trip on the 4th of July. Now, he was with his 3 white friends. And of course, basically he went missing. His mom reported that he was missing the next day, and they found his body floating in the water off the coast of Mississippi on the 6th. Now, there's no surprise that black folks have been crying racism, or the black victims, that is, crying racism. You know, anytime something negatively happens to a black person and there's a white person involved somewhere, it doesn't matter where, it's just a white person involved in some form or some fashion, they're crying racism. It makes it racism, right? So in the pro-black narrative has been, about letting black kids hang out with white kids. And of course, Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump shows up because they only show up when there's something race to cry about. But of course, they know they can get away with that because when black people hear race, their brains shut down. I always say, when race starts with black folks, brains stop. And their brains are absolutely stopping over this situation here. Now, to the question of the video though, was it racism? Well, based on what? Okay, just because his friends were white, or he was with his white friends, does not mean it's racism. Now, there's several questions that have to be asked about this story before you can even begin to cry racism, right? Well, what if he was with black friends? If he was with black friends on this boating trip and he lost his life, well, how would that be more or less racism? Okay, well, what if it was a white person with his black friends? Would that also be racism then? And that white kid lost his life hanging out with black friends. Would that be racism? Right? Now, how often do people lose their lives on boating trips? Is it normal? Is it something that normally happens? Well, it does happen. How often does it happen? How often does it happen when you have young teenagers going out on boats without the maturity of an adult? Right? How often do black people lose their lives hanging out with white people? This is a question that has to be asked. Okay? How often do black people lose their lives hanging out with black kids? Okay? Is a black kid more likely to lose their lives hanging out with white kids or with black kids? Again, based on what? Is a black kid safer around white kids, or is a black person safer around black kids? Where's the evidence to back that up? And even if they believe this is foul play, how do you know that those white kids did something to him because he's black? We don't know. Again, they just speculating because they make everything about race. They could have had an argument and disagreement in a fight. Those white kids could have had an argument and disagreement with a fight with another white friend. Where is the evidence that it was racism? There is none. Just because there were black and white people involved in it does not make it racism. And, anybody with any type of integrity, any type of honesty and integrity would ask these questions instead of immediately jumping to race. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with black victimhood, there is no honesty and integrity. It's just we pro-black, we down with the biggity black, and if we can cry racism, we're gonna cry racism, and this is what's happening here. There's no evidence that there was racism involved in this. There's no evidence that he lost his life because of racism. We don't know. We have to investigate and see. Again, it's a possibility that those white kids, they say that he basically went off for the female. Well, how do you know that those white kids had anything to do with it? So they're speculating where he left his phone and all the other stuff. Who knows? We have to do an investigation. However, you can't just jump to the conclusion and crying that it's racism without the evidence. But this is part of the course for pro-black. Anyway, if anyone going to say that this is racism and cry racism, you have to answer those questions before you even begin to cry racism. And that's just how it is. I know black folks don't want to hear it, but that's just it. You want to cry racism? Prove to me it's racism. Don't just cry racism because there were white people involved. This is one of the many reasons why it's hard to take black people seriously, because they don't operate in any type of logic, any type of reasoning, and in basically anything involving honesty and integrity. When it comes down to race, they just lose their minds. But if you believe it's racism, prove to me that it's racism based off the evidence. And as always, y'all, until next time.